Hello, Joel Tubman here from Golf Monthly, and in this video we're having a look at the new Ping G400 Max driver and specifically how it compares to the original Ping G400 driver. As we know, in the original driver range there were three models: the standard one, which I've got here, there was the LST, stands for low spin technology, and the SFT, which stands for straight flight technology with more draw bias for slicers. Now, as we know, those original G400 drivers were smaller at 445cc, and that was designed to make them more aerodynamically fast, so you should be able to swing them quicker through the air and get more clubhead speed and more distance while having a higher MOI, so more forgiveness than the previous Ping G driver. But Ping have brought out this max version, so 460cc, so maximum volume allowed by the rules of golf, and that's going to give you what Ping say fairway finding, distance and forgiveness. So you should get a similar amount of distance with this club, but just with more accuracy because it has an even higher MOI, so more stability on those off-centre hits, better performance across the face. If you want to find out more about the Ping G400 range of drivers, go on the Golf Monthly website, but for now we're talking specifically about these two models, the original G400 and the new G400 Max. How do they compare in terms of looks and performance, and why might you choose one over the other, and should you be a little bit miffed if you bought the G400 now they've brought this Max version out? So there's a couple of things to talk about. First, about the looks of these drivers. Obviously, with the Max being 460cc, so large, it has a larger footprint down by the ball, so it's going to inspire more confidence at address. Cosmetically, it's quite different actually. You can see on the bottom this kind of sole graphics are different, and most notably is the fact that the face on the Ping G400 Max driver is a lot lighter, there's more graphics on it, and for me that makes it more visible down by the ball and just makes it a little bit more easier to align the face. Both of them obviously have the turbulators and the Dragonfly crown on top, so beside that aside, obviously they are still quite similar looking, but there's no question the G400 Max looks a little bit more user-friendly behind the ball. Now, I tested both of these in 9.5 degrees of loft. I used the Ping Tour 65 stiff shaft in both. At Foresight HQ on the GC Quad Launch Monitor using premium golf balls. I also tested them on the range here at West Hill to look at things like workability, ball flight and things like that to kind of confirm what the GC Quad was telling me earlier this morning. So let's dive into the numbers to see what differences, if any, there were between the two drivers in terms of performance. So let's have a look at the GC Quad numbers then for the Ping G400 and the G400 Max drivers. Like I said, hit 10 shots with each and left me with 6 counting shots after deleting my 4 worst drives. It's really interesting actually. You would expect the G400 Max driver, because there's more weight back and because it's slightly bigger, you'd expect it to potentially launch a little bit higher with a touch more spin, and arguably get less clubhead speed with that because it is slightly bigger. It's going to be less kind of aerodynamic through the air, but as you'll see from the numbers, we'll start with the ball data first of all. Obviously ball speed was exactly the same, 155, which is really good actually. Normally I'm around 153, 154 with driver, but it was exactly the same with both models. Pretty much exactly the same launch angle at 16 degrees and pretty much exactly the same spin number at 2,100. So really wasn't much in it there in terms of the way the ball was coming off the face, and that resulted in an average carry of 275 yards with the G400 Max compared to 274 with the G400. So really nothing in it. The Ping G400 did fly 1 yard lower, and it's pretty clear looking at the dispersion numbers that the G400 Max did give me generally straighter shots. You're looking at the numbers there and maybe you can't quite see that. Obviously there is a slightly lower number for the G400 Max, but then when you look at the shots I hit, it's pretty clear that there was a pattern emerging with the G400 that I was missing it left quite a lot, whereas the G400 Max driver was a lot straighter. Looking at the club data, I mentioned about how you might expect more clubhead speed with the G400 compared to G400 Max, but I'm afraid that is not the case. My clubhead speed on average was exactly the same at 107 miles an hour, which again is very good. I'm normally around 105, 106. Smash factor was very similar at 1.44. One key difference between the two definitely was that the Ping G400 Max sounds a lot louder. It is really loud compared to the G400, which has a really nice sound actually. The G400 Max is a lot louder. It's not off-putting, it's just something to be aware of. Certainly one thing that distinguishes the G400 Max from the G400 driver, that's for sure. It's interesting, I definitely, looking at the strike locations, hit the G400 Max better, and I definitely enjoyed that driver more. You can see those strike locations peppering the centre of the face pretty much. whereas the Ping G400 was slightly low and heely. I mean, obviously I got the similar amount of distance and ball speed and things like that, but it was interesting that I just felt like I hit the G400 Max better. Just felt it gave me more confidence as I was about to swing, and the results certainly backed that up. You can see those strikes were pretty solid, very, very central indeed. So to summarise the comparison between the G400 and the G400 Max, I think it's fair to say if you have bought a G400 driver, you might feel a little bit annoyed because from the testing that I've done, it does seem to show that G400 Max is a little bit better in certain areas without losing out on anything. It seems to be more forgiving across a wider area on the face. You can see it gave me slightly straighter shots, slightly better dispersion without losing out on distance. And actually the spin and launch and ball speed were all exactly the same. So kind of getting the same amount of distance, if anything, a little bit more with a little bit more accuracy as well. So you are losing out slightly if you've got the G400, but you can see from the numbers we're only talking a very, very small amount, 1 yard of carry distance for me. I suppose the big question is, would I put this G400 Max driver in the bag? I've been using the G400 LST driver a few months back, had that in the bag for a while, and the numbers that this driver gave me seem to suggest that I'm not really losing out on distance, even though the spin was a touch higher. And the launch was a touch higher. Seeing the ball flight here today, it wasn't too high that I felt like I couldn't control it in the wind. I'm actually trying to get my spin numbers up a little bit to keep the ball in the air a little bit more and give me more distance on slight miss hits. So for me, the Ping G400 Max is the best of everything. It seems to give me better performance across the face in terms of both distance on those slight miss hits and accuracy as well. So there's no reason why a lot of golfers won't be switching into this model from all the other drivers in the Ping G400 range, especially because I didn't lose out on any club head speed either by switching into the G400 Max compared to the G400. So there you have it. It's a really impressive driver from Ping. Some golfers might be a bit miffed that this wasn't actually the original G400 driver, but there you go. It's an option for you to consider in the new range. Comes in at £389. Hope you enjoyed that review. Hopefully it gave you an insight into what this driver can offer you. As always, comment on the video below, let me know what you think. Hit the like button if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. But for now, from West Hill, it's goodbye.